Welcome to this fresh episode on Daybreak Africa. I am Angela Daku, and today we'll be talking about small and medium-scale businesses in Nigeria, the struggles they faced in 2021 and the growth expectation they are anticipating in 2022. Well, today to discuss this with me is an entrepreneur in person of Mr. Ido Samuel. It's nice to meet you, sir.
My pleasure.
Yes, sir. How are you doing?
I'm doing good.
How is your business going?
Blessed for this morning.
Well, going straight to the business of the day. Well, we know that 2021 was not easy. It was faced with so much challenges, and even many businessmen and women complain a lot about their losses. So how was 2021 for you?
2021 wasn't that bad. At the same time, it wasn't that extremely profitable. The rate of inflation last year was quite over 75%, 73 to 75%, which is damaging to every business in Nigeria. And as we all know, the major causes of inflation we are facing currently is Forex. Foreign exchange is quite high, about 570 to 580 depending on who is selling. And once the rate of importation is high, cost of raw materials will be high for producers.
Sure.
And they have no choice than to increase their supply rate, of which for retailers they also increase their rate. So it's really a damaging effect for many business owners who are in the act of buying and selling, and those who are also producing. It's a capital challenge that we are hoping that in 2022 maybe the federal government could look into alternative ways of bringing the forex rate down, which would have its own effect on inflation.
Well, so far your experiences as you've been going on with your business, what do you have to say about the challenges you faced all through these years, especially in the aspect of taxation?
As regards taxation, the state government is doing what they have in their own maximum capacities to get tax of every business owners.
Okay.
But the challenge is they are not doing more to equip business owners either with funds or ideas or materials. So which is in turn a capital challenge. It's more like you're interested in what you gain when you're not willing to give. So generally it's even more than often for state government to come in various forms, be it internal generated revenue, personal income tax, signage, local government tax, what have you. They will come in different forms to get what they can get out of you. It's always constant every year. But the challenge around it is that they are not doing enough to encourage those business owners, probably as regards stable power supply, as regards ease of business, in some other aspect of it. So it's a capital challenge.
But would you say the amount of taxes given to business owners is fair?
Relatively. What's the definition of fairness?
Okay.
Fairness is when you give and you felt like what I'm giving is expected of me.
Yes.
Because you surely get something back in return. So with all fairness, using the phrase of fairness, the levy on every business owner is not constant. And it can be constant. Depending on the kind of business you are running. You would pay your personal income tax as a business owner. That can run into thousands, depending on how they value your business. Aside that, you still have to pay on your workers. It's actually a rate for people who are collecting above 30,000 naira to pay tax. So you still have to pay on them, but the sincere truth is you are paying all this and you're not getting anything in return. So is that fair?
Actually, it's not.
It's not. So even if you pay 1,000 naira for income and for tax, in a developing nation, you get returns for it.
Yes.
It could be good roads or good power supply, but at least you get something in return. So you pay more tax. It encourages you to pay more tax because you always know you get something in return. Take Lagos State for example. Lagos State is being raised by tax. Most projects you see, they are taxpayers' money. So you see a functioning state, regardless of whatever the state is doing with the tax, but you still see something being done. So it encourages taxpayers to pay more. But on those states, for example, you want more tax, but we don't get anything in returns. How does this sound? It's still not fair.
Yeah.
Exactly.
So, from your own perspective, what do you think can help to resolve this?
If the state government is looking more into small and medium scale enterprises, how to help them. If it's for you to look for a means to boost their production for those who are producing, encourage patronage. You know, there is a way you can make your state a hub of the nation. For example, let's take China for example. China has different countries, like states. And for each state, they have different kind of production. So if you go to Guangzhou is like a port where they ship things from. You realize that many states will bring their products from Ningbo, Guangdong, all of them will bring it down to ship outside China. But each state are known for different kinds of production because they are enhanced by their states. So you can go to a community where what they do strictly there is electronics. You can leave some place and get to where they produce strictly leathers. But all of them has a backup by the state who is funding them so they can have maximum production and export. So if state government really wants to develop the state and develop everything around the state, you look more into entrepreneurs, look for a means to boost them. If each state can support a production, for example, let's say Ondo State is known for cocoa and other raw materials. So what if we look into avenues of those who are producing cocoa and how to process the cocoa?
Yes.
Now, what if a state can invest in the processing of cocoa factories in Ondo Town? All these chocolate bars you import, you do know that virtually, aside what Cadbury, not even Cadbury Nigeria, Cadbury International is producing as chocolate bar, we really don't have other companies producing chocolate bars in Nigeria. Your Snicker, your Mars, your Bounty, all other chocolates are imported. And yet, the raw materials are produced in Nigeria. So what if a state can venture into that and look for a means to get a cocoa processing plant that in turn produce chocolate-related products for export as well? Ivory Coast presently is doing that because most of their raw materials go to Switzerland. The company in Switzerland buys most of their raw materials. So what they did was they realized that what they get as revenue at the end of the year is a tiny percentage of what the company gets as revenue at the end of the year. So they limit their production at their supply rate and started producing chocolate bars for Africa. You can Google it. So if Ivory Coast can do that, as tiny as Ivory Coast is, how much more Nigeria? That shows that a state can pick a product, boost it, get more people to work on it, get more investment into it, and start production. Cross River, for example, is now producing tomato paste, in case you don't know. Lagos State had a partnership with Kebbi State to produce lake rice. So I mean, other states can actually venture into that, which will employ more people, and you can as well give license and aid to private entrepreneurs who can in turn generate those revenue for you. So it can always be a public-private partnership because more states are looking into private partnership. So there are means to which government can work around most of those things to help business owners and at the same time still get more revenue.
All right, let's diversify a little. Moving on to the National Development Plan for 2022. You discovered that the aim of it was to eradicate poverty, help with infrastructural development and the rest of them. And they're asking the private sector to contribute about 87% of 348 trillion naira, while the government will in turn contribute 14.3% thereabout. What's your take on this?
I'll start from Vision 2010 in 1990s.
Okay.
What was the result? Because I believe then we were told that we will have stable power supply by 2010.
Yes, that's true.
That's true, right? Do we have stable power supply?
We don't.
I wouldn't say we shouldn't trust the government. But what I'm saying is so far corruption is still dwelling in the midst of the nation. Most of these visions are not possible. Because monkey go to work. I'm sorry, baboon go to chop. So it's always like that. From that view, private owners or business owners who forms the majority of the sectors would look for a means to contribute that particular percentage. But what would they get in returns? What if the private sectors can sit, have a meeting, and develop the infrastructure and get tax-free from the government, that will work more, because it's being geared by the private companies. For example, Kogi Road, Ajakuta Road is badly damaged.
That's true.
Now, the tires company around the regions are looking for a means to fix the road and get tax off for, I think, some years, which the state government is not looking into. But in the real sense of it, they are the major, I won't say consumers of the road. They are the major owner of that road, because they ply that road every blessed day. The tires companies around the roads, Western, there are lots there. I think about 3 or 4 thereabouts along those roads. Now, imagine if the state government could look into that, allow them to fix the roads, which is going to be of A-grade quality because there is no embezzlement around it, and yet give them tax off for probably 10 or 20 years. Do you know that Lekki Road was a private public partnership project for Lagos State? Lekki, the NSAS bus stop now, I will call it NSAS bus stop, is a private, public-private partnership for Lagos State. And if you check the quality of the road, it's far more quality than what the state or the private or the federal government will handle on their own. Just like the road that was awarded to Dangote from Mile 2 down to, from Oshodi down to Mile 2. Do you know Dangote was given the contract to fix the road? And they go and check the level of concrete on the road. It's quite solid. I'm too sure the road should last for 100 years. So I'm saying that if private business owners can be given a ticket or a slot to fix infrastructures, in return get tax-free, then I think we can really get positive response. But from saying that you want to develop infrastructures and you want private owners to contribute, it's not bad. But how are you going to manage the fund? And that is the major challenge we've always been facing in Nigeria, funds management. So it will shock you that private owners will contribute 80-something%, and at the end of the day, federal government will spend, I'm not saying they would embezzle it. I'm just saying that it will shock you that towards the chain of the production of the infrastructure, when you start breaking it down from the disbursement of funds down to the engineers, you realize that corruption is just sitting there, taking its own share gradually. Before you know it, the 80-something% will become probably 40%. Because it has always been noted that in Nigeria, road per meter is around 500,000 naira, which is more than every other country. So for you to construct a road in Nigeria, just a meter is about 500,000. And other countries will spend far less than the half. That's to tell you that corruption is always sitting around, and that's where they get most of their funds from. So from those perspectives, I'm not too sure that sensible private company owners will be willing to dash out their funds just for someone to consume it. But if the federal government can look into a partnership that will give them tax off, okay, want to select a road, probably from Ibadan down to Osun State, Oyo State, the linking road between Oyo State and Osun State, or the linking road between Ondo State and Ekiti State. We want it fixed. We are looking for a private company or 2 or 3 that could come around and fix a road of this standard and get tax cut for 10 years. People will come out because they know what they get in returns.
So what you're saying basically is that the government should, in a way, restructure the form of projects.
It's always preferable for government to look into means of which they award contracts, monitor it to the end, not just award contracts to Mr. A, and on the field, Mr. C is the one handling the contract. Mr. A will get the contract for 5 million, give it to Mr. B, who will get it for 3 million, in turn give it to Mr. C, who will now get the contract for 1-point-something million. You can see the line. It had always been like that in Nigeria. And it will always be, except, I've always thought about if the government can create the public office that would allow people in a community to monitor their projects and work on the project. It's just like want to fix a street along fix a road along the street.
Okay.
And you invite the chairman of the street, invite the secretary of the street, and some other members of the street. Okay, we are fixing your road. We will get a company that will do it. Let us know. We already know how much you have to spend, but let us know the quality of what they are doing. Give us reports. You know, it's your project.
Yes.
You always want the best for it. Even where they don't send them, you must fix this place. It's part of it. But once that line of public sector is not functioning, where the downstream, who should be the checkmate for everything coming up, are not functioning, then I can hardly see progress in whatever the government intends to do.
It's getting interesting. Well, do you advertise your products online?
Sure, we do.
Okay, so how has it been for you?
You know, online, there is a supermarket.
Yeah.
There's a store where you just have to walk in and pick up your product. Now, lately in Nigeria, there are more scams of bank transactions where someone would send you confirmation of a transaction of 20,000. In fact, we face a lot here for bank transfers. So we intend to, what we did basically was to reduce the online flow. Whatever you need, walk into our store, you can pick it up.
Okay.
Because the challenges are there. Hunger is in the land, and people are growing wide every day. So gradually it's becoming the survival of the fittest. So if you are not careful, your business won't survive. I've heard the story of a man whom they bought a car of about 3.something million with fake transfer. He saw the alert. He released the vehicle. They left, and after some minutes, he discovered that the money was not in his account. So how much is the profit on the car if they are going away with 3.something million? So as easy as bank transfers are, or bank payments are for online sales, which we all know, so once you don't have a card processor on your website, we don't have a website yet.
Okay.
But we have Facebook page, Instagram page, where we just push most of our product. So as far as these avenues are there, you know, and we don't have this delivery means of, okay, pay on delivery. We don't have that as well.
Okay.
We have to confirm payment because of the security of our people. We've heard many stories around delivery guys who are kidnapped and stuff like that. So it's more challenging because people are becoming,
Dubious.
do you understand?
Yes.
And they are looking for every means to outsmart the system. So it's more challenging to say you are pushing a product online and you want to offer something quality. You know, there are always two sides to it. The recipient does not trust you in the sense that if I send my money, will I receive the product? That's a challenge. Now, you don't trust if what they are paying is actually in your account.
That's true.
So it's making that transaction, you know, if it were to be a developed nation, transaction would be quite easier. You don't need that level of trust before you, and that's why many Americans fall victim of Nigerian fraud, because their own system is quite easier. It's not as if trust is not in the system, but they know there are checks here and there before transactions, so they don't really need trust before they conduct their transactions. But here in Nigeria, trust. I don't see you, I don't sell. So that's a challenge. Online could have been more fascinating because it will extend your reach. But the danger around it is, around this region, there are no delivery agents. You can't just say, okay, I want to deliver something to Akure. I need someone to pick it up, and you call a number, pick it up and deliver. There are no delivery agents. You still have to do the hustle on your own and other stuffs around the. So for now, we just felt the best thing we could do is reduce it until we have a better society.
Okay, during the COVID-19 pandemic, which happened about 2020, right, and extended even till now with the new variant Omicron and all of that, you'll notice that many businessmen and women are affected by this. Now, my question is, was there any form of support from the government towards small and medium-scale enterprises?
Yes. I could remember there was COVID-19 relief fund. I think around 500,000 for business owners that you could apply for online, and you could get. But then I realized only few people have access to it because it's a random selection.
Okay.
Well, I applied, I could not get anything. A friend of mine applied, he got 500,000. Another friend applied, could not get anything. So you could see it's random selection. Not as if there's a verification process to check if your business claim is legit. If there is a process to check if your business claim is legit, then I believe it will function more, because from there you can actually know that, okay, this is a true business owner who needs the fund. You won't just select randomly. But you know, it was just you apply online, they select randomly, you get something out of it, probably later. A friend of mine just called me some weeks ago, okay, was it late December, that he got 500,000 from the relief fund, which he applied for around February. So imagine if he's out of business, what will he start with? And you know, 500,000 currently with the level of inflation means nothing. I'm sorry to say, but it actually means nothing, because what you buy for 500,000 in 2018 is not what you buy for 500,000 in 2022, not even in 2021. The inflation keeps rising every day. So imagine a salary earner who's collecting 30,000 naira in 2018. What will he buy with that same 30,000 naira in 2022? So it's a challenge that federal government is trying as much as possible to make sure that things are getting easier for business owners, but they are not getting the directions or the channels to which they should use, which could actually make so much meaning. Then, so to say, for business owners who are running mega business and they need support, 500,000 means nothing. So if the government intends to really give a relief for business owner, check what other countries were doing. I know they are developed nations. I can't really call Nigeria developing, but we can't compare Nigeria to other nations. But I'm just saying, check the Western world and what they are doing. For an average individual to be collecting $2,000 as COVID-19 relief fund, which is how much now? About 1 point something million. Now, do you think business owners should collect 500,000, which is less than $1,000? It doesn't speak well. So that's why I'm saying it's not really correlating. The level of inflation plus how much the government intends to give does not really correlate. So if truly they want a relief for business owner, they should move into the street, verify your business claim, and give you something good. But you know, we are Nigerians, we always survive.
That's very true. Well, we're in a new year now, 2022.
Yes.
In anticipation for 2023 election. That's majorly what's taking the attention of everybody right now.
Exactly.
Yeah, but what is the expectation, more like the growth expectation for business owners?
That's a big task. 2023 election is what will determine if we go. You know, there was a claim that Nigeria went far back as 10 years, that our development just reversed far back, like 10 years back, because we were not really growing. So it's more like as if we were not stagnant, we were not growing. So it's more like we are moving backward. Now, 2023 will determine whoever takes the mantle of power will determine what the next 100 years of Nigeria will look like. Because lately people are more smarter. There is an high opener, like NSAS was an high opener for many youths and many other events. COVID-19 exposed so many things, the palliative, storage, and many other things. So now people are more smarter, people are more hungry, and people are more hungry. So now the challenge is whoever takes the mantle of power will determine will determine the face of the nation in the next 5 years. Now for business owner, our expectation is to see someone who can actually propel the nation forward economically. You see, infrastructure is minor. Sincerely, to get infrastructure is not that hard. United Kingdom, for example, is living on revenue. I believe you know that they have little natural resources by now. The nation is over 200 years plus, thereabout. Now, they're living on taxation. That's why if you live in the UK, you work from morning till night just to pay bills and get little savings. Do you get the gist? So it's more like you pay for gas to the government, you pay for cable, you pay for your house rent, you pay for virtually everything, even waste management. Here in Nigeria, we don't pay for water. Or did you pay for water? Because we dig well everywhere, which is not allowed there. You could be jailed for it. So their system of government has been created in such a manner that everything around this is task. But yet, here in Nigeria, we think UK is better. It's true. Economically, they are sound. But if you compare the value of goods there to the value of goods here, a lot of times you'll see that there is more expensive. Like a friend of mine called me one day and said, I just took a train for 3 hours and I paid so pounds, and at the end of the day I calculated it was around 25,000 naira.
Wow.
My response was, if you take a bus from here to Lagos and they charge you 5,000, you will cry.
Complain. Yeah.
But you take a train from your home street to another community and you pay around 25,000 naira. You want to bath air, you are paying around 7,500, around 10 pounds thereabout to bath just your air. And here in Nigeria, we'll bath for like 500. But the real sense is this. If, like I said, if the government can look into a way of providing essential services for all business owners, you know, for an average business owner, you employ 2, 3, 4, 5 to 6 people, depending on the size of the business. Some employ up to 100. Now, we are saying there will be more jobs, right? Now, we have resources untapped. People can create business on that alone. Ondo State has bitumen. What have we been using our bitumen for? Osun State has gold. At least you can confirm that in Elisha, around Elisha, if thereabout, there are gold mines. Illegal gold mines, so to say. Now I'm saying that there are many ways to which the state or the federal government can propel the nation forward. But it has to be a creative mind. So that's why we are praying that we will get someone who can actually propel the nation forward economically. Once most of these things can be done, you get more tax and you get more infrastructures because people will be willing to pay.
That's true.
You know, if I pay tax this month, they will fix my road next week. Then you pay. So it won't sound as if you pay tax and nothing is coming in. Government can live comfortably on tax. Remember what the former Lagos State governor did, Tinubu. When revenue was not coming in during Obasanjo era, he started raising tax structures. In fact, he had more than enough, and he was not collecting revenue from federal government. Do you understand?
Yeah.
So I'm saying that this is just to show you that state and federal can live much on tax, and people will be willing to pay in as much as they can see the effect of their tax. Good roads. You can say water supply for communities who need water supply. But I mean stable electricity. The basis of everything we are discussing is still on power. Okay, let me cite an example. Here in this month, averagely we run per month around 150,000 on fuel alone. So that shows that in a year we're running about 1.8 million on fuel, just fuel. I'm not talking about the servicing of the generators and other things.
Other maintenance.
Just fuel alone. So imagine if you have stable power, we can't pay 150 for a month, but at least if we'll be willing to pay 70. Do you get the gist?
Yeah.
So which will in turn help every other business owners. Many companies left Nigeria because there was no power supply. Michelin left and many other companies. The face of the country was not really growing, so they had to leave. But imagine if by now we have majority of our consumption produced in Nigeria. The country will be forward. But whatever you are consuming now, I can say that 80% of whatever you are consuming is outside Nigeria. Nigerians love imported products. If it's not imported, some won't buy.
That's true.
Because the mindset has been created already. So if countries like China could be producing their cars, and we have Innosi in Nigeria, and some other companies who can produce cars, I wonder why the government cannot patronize them and cease importation and encourage these car owners to produce car units of 2 million for civil servants, which will be in turn deducted from their salaries. So imagine if you are working with a state government or a federal government and Innosi produce smaller cars of 2 million, brand new, tail nylon, and you get a car through the scheme, the car loan scheme from the state government or the federal government. and they're removing a percentage from your salary for the next 5 years. Won't that sound awesome?
It will.
So imagine if those issues are just fixed. You are creating a supply chain, which will in turn create business for some people. Because the movement of vehicle from Innocent around the states, or from any other car manufacturer around the states, would in turn affect some other people who would get jobs. It could be a delivery job, it could be more assembly plants, and the like. Business keeps growing. But the government is not looking into that. Yet, they are putting levy on imported cars, Tokunbo cars. In fact, Nigeria is now the best buyer of accidented vehicles. Because we believe it's cheap, we'll bring it in and fix. Meanwhile, we have someone producing cars in Nigeria. I mean, meant for Nigerian roads. So there are several loopholes that the government should really look into that would help the business owner and as well help the government. For 2023 election, we are hoping, that's the only hope, that we can get someone who has the foresight, like the Prince of Dubai did many years ago. It was just a vision that came to reality. Dubai was desert in 1990s. Pure desert. Go to Dubai now. You'll be surprised. There are hotels where you can spend like $25,000 per night just to sleep for a night in Dubai. I mean desert many years back. Go to China. China development is less than 40 years. But it's a project. So if truly we are thinking of Vision 2022, we're already in 2022.
Of course.
So can anything happen in 2022? We're talking about people who give plans for 10 years, 15 years, and they follow it up. So only if we can have a visionary leader, which is our prayer, that will propel the nation forward economically, regardless of the tribe, regardless of the tongues, then we are good to go. That's the expectation.
Thank you so much for your time, sir.
You're welcome.
It has been an interesting discourse with you.
You're welcome.
So it's the end of this segment for today. Till we come your way next time, I remain Angela Daku.